Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's broadcast. We are live from the D. Glenn Smith Spectrum in Logan, Utah. My name is Stockton Jukes. I'm joined by Courtney McGill and Miranda Acevedes, and we are excited to bring you tonight's meet between Utah State and the BYU Cougars. This is the 126th matchup between these programs. BYU leading the all-time series record 76-48-1. However, the Aggies are 7-0 in home openers since 2014, a streak that started by beating the BYU Cougars. Utah State 34-15 all-time in home openers, a record that takes several multi-team meets into account. Friday is going to be the first of 3 contests between these two teams. They will meet again next weekend down in Utah County in Provo. And the third meet will be a quad meet for the championships in March. Looking forward to this meet today. It's supposed to be good. So let's talk about this dual meet today. We've got 6 gymnasts per team in each event. Best 5 scores count. They will drop the lowest of each event. And after all 4 rotations are complete, the team with the highest cumulative score wins. If you look at the bottom of your screen, you'll see the rotation for each of the teams. The Aggies will start on vault, the Cougars on bars, and they will rotate as such. So as we get ready to start this off, we're going to go ahead and send it to break. We'll be right back with the start of this meet. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here in Logan, Utah, on the campus of Utah State University. As we get ready for this meet, let's talk about some things that my friend Courtney here asked Coach Smith this weekend. What do you have from your takeaways from your conversation with her?
Yeah, so I talked to Coach Smith this weekend about what her goals were for the team and just what she's seeing as the Utah State team. And her goal last week was to get the highest season opener, which they did achieve. Up in Pittsburgh, they got their highest season opener score. And her goal for the team looking forward, for their long-term goals, they're looking to be in one of those top 25 teams. Right now they're competing against BYU, which is ranked 6th in the nation right now. So Utah State is just trying to climb up and be right there alongside BYU. Tonight she said that she expects to see high energy with a lot of drive and focus from these girls. And this team loves to compete against BYU. And so you'll definitely see a lot of good gymnastics coming out from both of these teams and a lot of energy.
And Miranda, you've competed against this BYU squad before. What do you think we're going to see out of the Aggie girls tonight?
In my experience, competing against BYU was always my favorite because everyone was so competitive and so hyped up because these are in-state rivals. You want to do good and you want to beat them. So I'm excited to see what these girls are going to produce. I think there's going to be big gymnastics, tight, clean lines, and just a fun atmosphere. So I'm really excited.
One of the things Coach Smith mentioned is that she is expecting high energy with drive and focus because the Aggies love to compete against BYU, especially here at home. Looking forward to this. So we're going to take a look at these lineups for the first rotation. On the bars, we have Elodie Cyrene, Abby Bowden, Gabrielle Hubbard, Natasha Marsh, Haley Pitou, and Shannon Evans for the Cougars. And on vault for the Aggies, we've got Ellie Gollison, Autumn DeHardy, Madison Ward, Leighton Varnador, Grace Rojas, and Logan Varnador. So
I'm excited to see these lineups. You know, we have some freshmen competing, and we have some girls on our team that are competing for the first time as sophomores. And we're going to see some big vaults. I am expecting to see a 10-0 vault from Ellie Gollison. So I'm looking forward to that. And on bars, BYU has really good bars. They swing really well, and so I'm excited to see, you know, tight, clean lines. Last meet that they had, Shannon Evans won an event title. Wasn't on bars, though. I thought it was, but it's not. But she did get a 9.875, which did really well competing against Utah. So
Absolutely. We're definitely going to see really good things coming out from both these teams on these next events. Like we were saying on that 10.0 vault, that is starting to get a little bit rare for college gymnastics. So most of these vaults started out at a 9.95. Most gymnasts, they changed the code of points a few years ago, changed the rules a little bit, so where the start values are a little bit less. But both of these teams have some huge vaults that we're going to see coming up, so we're excited to see those.
So it looks like we're getting ready to see our first competitor on the vault. This is Ellie Gollison.
That was the 10-0 vault we were waiting to see. She does a soup onto the table, which is a round off, and does a full twist in the tuck position coming off of it. And it's really fun to see her coming out and starting this team with a 10-0 start value. And it was really good.
And now for the Cougars, we're going to see Elodie Cyrene on the bars.
As Elodie is getting prepped and getting ready to go, she earned a 9.8 last week. Great score against the Utah Utes. Hoping to improve that or get a little bit higher this week.
Little leg separation there, but other than that, it's looking like a really good routine.
Prepping for a dismount, huge double leg. Slight hop, but a great start for the Cougars.
Yeah, she hit those handstands very well in that routine. And it's really cool to see the release moves that she did from the low bar to the high bar. It's a toe on to a shapash up to the bar. And it's pretty cool to see those.
So good start for the Cougars and the Aggies. Now we're going to see Autumn DeHardy on the vault.
Huge power coming out of DeHardy. Looks like she just wasn't able to control some of that power. But it's always good to see whenever that mistake is made with that too much power. That's always something you can go back to the gym and work on.
Yes, this vault is a 9.9 start value. This is pretty common to see in gymnastics. Hopefully people are going to try to start upgrading it so they can start hitting that 10.0 star value. But that was a huge vault from Autumn, and it was great to see.
Next up for the Cougars on the bars, we're going to see Abby Bowden. Bowden is a sophomore from Roseville, California.
You see Bowden starting all the way back there. What she's going to do is she's going to jump over that low bar and just go directly to the high bar. So watch for that as she's getting ready here.
It's always nerve-wracking waiting for the judges to score. So before you can start, you have to wait for the judges to finish scoring the girl who went before you. And just standing there staring at them is kind of nerve-wracking.
Gets a lot of nerves. There's that jump over the bar, right up to that handstand. Gorgeous release connections.
Beautiful handstand. That was a great bar routine from Abby.
Great bar routine. On bars, the judges are really looking for those handstands. There are a lot of other different elements the judges are looking for and the gymnasts are required to put in. But if you can notice all those vertical handstands, that's what's going to make the difference between these little tents that are coming up.
This is Maddie Ward Sessions on vault.
That was a great vault for Maddie Ward Sessions. She always gets huge power off that table, and for her to be able to control that landing and almost stick it is very great to see coming out of this senior. It's a great leadership to show the team, look, you can be powerful and still try to stick this vault.
So you see the cumulative score for both squads there at the bottom of your screen. BYU at 19.275 so far on the bars, and Utah State 9.725 on the vault. Still awaiting some of those uninputted scores.
Maddie got honored this week. She became the American First Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week for Utah State. So that's a great honor to see because she did so well in her meet last week.
Next on the bars from BYU, Gabrielle Hubbard.
On the bars now for BYU, Gabrielle Hubbard. Looks like Abby Bowden scored a 9.675 on her last routine.
This is Hubbard's first time competing on bars this season. saw that transition from the high bar to the low bar down to the high bar. That is a required element as well that the judges are looking for.
She held on to that landing. It's great to see that stick. BYU looks very happy about that.
Next on vault from Utah State, Leighton Varnador.
Leighton Varnador, one of two twins from Aiken, South Carolina, now going to take the vault for the Aggies.
We just saw your Yurchenko layout half from Leighton Varnador. It's great to see her in lineup. She's one of two all-around gymnasts for Utah State tonight.
So waiting on that score for Hubbard on the bars and also for Leighton Varnador on the vault.
Leighton Varnador is also just a sophomore this year and competing all around, so we're going to be able to see her journey.
Nice stick. That is going to be a big score for BYU tonight.
That was definitely a gorgeous dismount. That was one of the cleanest double A's I've seen.
Grace Rojas on vault for the Aggies.
Grace is just a freshman here. You can see that cute smile. Definitely has a great energy that she brings to the Utah State team.
There's another Yurchenko full from Grace Rojas. It was very nice, clean, tight lines. I wish she would get a little bit more pop, but other than that, it was a really good vault.
Absolutely, just a little bit more push off of that vault would give her a little bit more power to be able to complete that, so she would have been able to land with her legs straight instead of bent. But that's just a little thing, nothing too big.
Now up on bars for the Cougars, Haley Pitu.
Haley Pitu earned a 9.8 last week. Again, huge score from bars.
Just a little bit out of her reach. Didn't quite catch it. She was really close, but when you're off, what can you do? It's a hard sport. She gets 30 seconds to get back up on the bar.
I'm really impressed with how she's finishing this routine. Doesn't seem like that fall shook her. The dismount was a little bit close to the bar. Looks like she held on a little bit too close there. But she was able to tuck it in and be able to land it.
That's really great of her to go up there and finish as strong as she did. You know, it's hard for the team when you fall, but if you can get up there and finish strong and to show the next girl that's competing, like, oh, you got this. If I can finish strong, you can do it. You know, it's great to see that from her.
Absolutely.
So finally on vault for the Aggies, Logan Varnador.
I'm excited to see Logan compete. This is her first time competing in the Spectrum, and I'm excited to see what she brings.
Very good vault. So that was the Yurchenko half. So Yurchenko halves, whenever they land forwards, it is a blind landing. So they're not able to really see the ground before their feet touch the ground. So those vaults are very difficult, although it is just a start value of a 9.95. But it was so good to see Logan come in and make her debut in the Spectrum here. Also, Logan was in the anchor spot, so that means that she was in the last spot in the lineup, which is huge coming in. Coaches tend to put their most consistent and their best scoring athletes at the end, so it's awesome for Logan that she was able to get that spot today for this meet.
So now the final competitor of this first rotation for BYU is going to be Shannon Evans on the bars. She's waiting on Haley Pitu's score.
Last week in their meet against Utah State, Shannon Evans was awarded the MRGC, the conference that we're in. She was named Bar Specialist of the Week. So I'm excited to see how she does in this routine. You know, I'm expecting handstands, hit, and a stick at the end.
She received a 9.875, securing that title. Oh,
there's a little hand slip there, but that was a good recovery.
That's how you can tell why she's such a seasoned athlete, has so much experience.
Even with that little hand slip, that was a great routine.
I would say she definitely lived up to her role of that co-specialist on bars.
Yeah.
So that's going to do it for this first rotation as we wait for that final score for Shannon Evans. Total score for Utah State so far, 48.85. See that at the bottom of your screen. And it looks like BYU is coming in with a 47.95 according to our screen up top.
For USU, Maddie Ward Sessions got a 9.8, which is their highest vault score for their team. And we're waiting on the score from Shannon Evans, but BYU had some good routines with Marsh with a 9.775. And Serene with a 9.725.
Both teams coming out with pretty even scores right now, so it's going to be a pretty even matchup at this point. But I feel like both teams really showed their best. You can tell there was a little bit of nerves, but I definitely think that both teams are coming out strong, and you can tell that they're here to compete, here to win.
So final score in for Shannon Evans is a 9.75.
BYU is having an exhibition on bars. I'm not sure who it is.
So an exhibition is just where the girls, they don't count for the team score, but they do just get to come out and get experience just in a stadium setting, which is really good experience for these girls. So again, her score won't count for the team score, just for the coaches to see how she competes under the lights and under the pressure.
So the teams are going to move on to their second rotation. The Aggies are going to move on to the boards while the Cougars move on to the beam.
The Cougars are actually going to move on to the vault. So in a two-team meet, the home team is going to start on vault, and they're going to go what's called an Olympic order. So they go from vault to bars to beam and then floor. And then the visiting team will start on bars, and they usually just switch with whatever the home team opens with. So BYU is going to go to vault and then floor, and then we'll switch with Utah State and go to beam.
So here's your final scores on the screen, 48.55 for BYU coming off the bars and a 48.85 coming off the vault for the Aggies moving into this second rotation. So again, tight scores. These two teams pretty good competitors. The Aggies looking to continue their run of home openers undefeated since 2014. We're going to take a break as we move into the second rotation. We'll be right back with some more action here from the D. Glenn Smith Spectrum. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the D. Glenn Smith Spectrum here on the campus of Utah State University. We're bringing you the meet between Utah State and BYU for gymnastics, the Aggies' home opener for the season. Let's recap some of these scores here for the vault. The Aggies totaled a 48.85, leading the Aggies by 0.3 of a point. What are you guys' takeaways from this close score? What are you looking for in the next rotation?
I'm looking forward to seeing some big vaults from BYU. They have some 10-0 start valued vaults, so that's going to be exciting to see. And for bars for the Aggies, they have some new girls in lineup, but from the meet last week, they look like they have nerves of steel. So I'm excited to see this battle continue between these two teams.
Absolutely. We're going to see two of the freshmen on bars for Utah State. One of them being in that anchor spot, like we said, a very coveted spot for gymnasts. They always want to be on that end spot because as a coach, you put your consistent and usually your best athletes at the end. So you'll see Maddie Tuller starting at the end for Utah State. And Leighton Varnador, again, our all-arounder, starting on bars.
So we're just about to get underway. Take a look at these rotations. On vault for BYU, we've got Angel Zong, Haley Pitu, Shannon Evans, Abby Miner, Avery Bennett, and Rebecca Bean. And on bars for the Aggies, we're going to start off with Leighton Varnador and move on to Annie Beck, Michaela Bullitt, Grace Rojas, Madison Ward, and Maddie Tuller. So a good second rotation coming up. The Cougars going to start it off on the vault.
Song received a 9.725 last week on vault.
Very nice clean vault to start off their rotation. That's always what you want to start with. Is someone consistent that you know is going to start your team off right.
Leighton Varnador getting started on the uneven bars.
Leighton's one of those gymnasts that has such beautiful lines. Her body just seems to go on forever when she's on bars. She has such great form with those straight legs and pointed toes.
That was a good routine to start this team off with on bars. She hit all of her handstands and stuck that dismount. That's what you want to see in your gymnasts is clean, tight handstands, stick the dismount. So that's a great routine to start.
Crowd here
Utah
at the
State
Spectrum very fired up about that routine from Varnador. So now moving on, this is Haley Pitu for the Cougars.
That was a huge amplitude on that vault, meaning how high she got off that board. She had a really strong push off the vault to give her that really high air awareness.
I believe she stuck that vault. I think. That's awesome to see.
Especially after that struggle on bars that she had. It's nice to see her just come back and have an amazing vault.
When I was on the team, the coach that I had always said to me, just leave whatever event you had in the past. If you got to fall, just leave it in the past and move on and finish strong for your team. And that's exactly what she's doing.
Exactly.
Now on bars for the Aggies, Annie Beck.
Very clean routine. Headed right into her dismount here. Nice double tuck. She's a little bit far away from the bar, so that's why she had to have that hop to self-correct. But that was a really good routine, a really good start for Annie Beck.
Annie Beck has a cool skill in her routine. It's called a pack salto, where she does a backflip from the high bar to the low bar, which is really cool.
Shannon Evans on vault.
That was a gorgeous vault by Shannon Evans. That's the same vault that you saw the Varnador twins do, so that your Chenko half.
I really like how excited she gets after everything she does. You can see how much she cares for the sport, and when she does good, she feels the reward of it. It's great to see.
Absolutely. It's so fun to watch these gymnasts having fun. You just feel like you're a part of the team with them.
So now as we await the score for Annie Beck on bars, Michaela Bullitt is getting ready to compete next.
Michaela Bullitt has a really cool story this week. Earlier this week, she was able to receive a scholarship this weekend from Coach Smith. Super exciting for a gymnast. Lots of happy tears that day.
Yeah, it's always fun to give gymnasts or give athletes a scholarship. You get to reward all the hard work that they're putting in their practices. it's great to have that payoff.
See, Michaela has a lot of her knees and ankles taped up. Definitely has gone through a lot of injuries, but it's such an inspiring gymnast because she's always out here working so hard every day.
It's great to see her out here competing. You know, each year that she's been on this team, she has progressed so much. And it's great to see her out here competing and doing really well for this team.
Absolutely. She's been such a great asset for Utah State. There you
That
go,
was
stop.
Abby Miner on vault.
That was a great Yurchenko full. She got amazing height on that, and she stuck that landing. That is great to see, especially early on in the season. You know, this is the only second meet in, and they're already sticking vaults. It's so crazy to me.
Absolutely. BYU is really doing amazing on vault today. Lots of huge amplitudes, fast runs, and great landings.
So next up on bars for the Aggies, Grace Rojas.
Grace had a little bit of a rough weekend last weekend in Pittsburgh. But Rojas is definitely going to be a gymnast that we're going to want to look out for in these next coming years. Again, she's just a freshman, but she has the capabilities to be an all-around, potentially even by postseason or by next year.
Now you see Coach Eric standing in there. They are allowed to stand there. They're not allowed to touch them, but it's just nice for the gymnasts to just have their coach there just in case.
Very nice routine by Grace. That was a very quick-paced routine. As long as you get all those elements in, it doesn't matter how long or how short the routine is. But that was a great routine for Grace. Good confidence builder, I think, for her as well.
So next up on the vault for the Cougars, we're going to see Avery Bennett.
Avery Bennett does a really cool vault. It's pretty unique. She's doing a Yurchenko full on with a flip off, and it's very rare. I did it when I was in college, so it's really nice to see someone else doing it. Unfortunately, a fall there, but you know, that's okay. She has been doing really good on that vault, and everyone's allowed to have an off day.
Absolutely. You know, gymnastics is such one of those sports where you never really know what's going to happen when you compete. You go out and practice and practice and practice, and I'm sure she's done that a million times perfect, but it just depends on the day. And unfortunately, it had to be a fall, but I'm sure when we see her next, that vault will be even better.
So a quick score update for both teams. BYU on vault so far has gone 9-7, 9-8, 9-8-7-5, and 9-8-2-5. So far in the bars for Utah State, 9-7, 9-6-2-5, and another 9-6-2-5. And I believe a 9-7-2-5 for Grace Rojas. That score just coming in.
This is Maddie. She won this event title last week at the meet in Pittsburgh.
Such a great routine from Maddie. You can hear the crowd cheering and roaring for her. Maddie is such a crowd favorite here at Utah State, and everyone just loves watching this senior perform.
So the final vaulter for BYU in this rotation is going to be Rebecca Bean.
She does a front handspring entry, and for me, that's really rare to see, and she does a pike off of it with a half, which is, I believe, a 10-0 start value.
Yeah, I believe it is too, which is really nice to see. It's definitely such a unique vault. I love to see all these gymnasts coming out and performing unique vaults. We've seen a lot of them tonight, lots of different vaults, which is always fun to see. See all those game faces on the BYU players.
So So waiting on that last score from Maddie Ward Sessions. Maddie Tueler's going to wrap it up on bars for the Aggies.
Maddie Tueler has a really cool story. She walked onto this team from a club team here at Utah State. When Coach Smith got here, Smith offered her a position on the team, and she was so excited, and of course took it. This is only her second college meet of her career.
See her dancing there. Again, we talked about it earlier, but those minutes just before you're waiting to get ready to go and the judges aren't quite ready yet can be the most nerve-wracking 30 seconds of your life. Just trying to calm yourself down and trying to remember to breathe.
Everyone copes with it different. Obviously, she dances. When I was a gymnast, I couldn't look at the judges. I had to have my coach stand right in front of me before I would go.
So final score in for Maddie Ward Sessions was a 9.75. Good score for her, matching Grace Rojas's one run earlier.
Again, just a little far from that bar. You know, it happens. It's okay. All 5 girls before her hit, so Utah State will be able to drop her score.
And again, that was a same release move that we saw one of the BYU or P2 fall on as well. Again, just a little bit too far. These skills are all about timing and precision, and again, it's okay to have those off days. It happens to the best of us. You just see her chalking up there. They are allowed to do that as long as they get back on the bar within 30 seconds.
She's going to attempt that steal again so she can get a connection from the high bar to the low bar.
So she just basically restarted her routine, and again is showing an amazing routine right here. So that was a fall at the end as well. If their hands or if their knees touch the floor, then it is considered a fall. But again, all the girls hit before her, so they will be able to drop that score.
So a quick score update from both squads here. The vault for BYU, a 9.7, 9.8, 9.875, 9.825, 8.825, and 9.75. The bars for the Aggies, 9.7, 9.625, 9.625, 9.725, 9.75, and we're still waiting on that score from Tueler. Logan Varnado is going to be exhibitioning on the bars for the Aggies. Again, that just means that she's going to get some practice in. She's going to get a feel for an arena setting, but that score will not count towards the running total for the Aggie squad.
Logan is just a sophomore on this team, but this is her first time competing on bars in the Spectrum, so it's really awesome for her to come out and compete on vault and bars today, and just to be able to make an impact for this team. You can see her waiting there. She just seems like the person that just, instead of dancing, she just likes to just stay in her head.
She hit those handstands very cleanly. And it's great to see in an exhibition spot. You want to show the coaches that, look, I'm ready to be in lineup. Put me in and I can score well for you.
Absolutely, this is a great routine so far. She's so calm on bars, has a lot of unique skills as well, which is really exciting to see. That was an amazing routine. If I was Coach Smith, I would be so proud of her right now.
So updated scores for both squads, BYU with a 97.575 and Utah State with a 97.1. So the Aggies trailing by .375 here, or 475, excuse me. So we move into the third rotation. The Cougars will be moving onto the floor as the Aggies move on to the beam. So again, a quick recap of those scores from the last rotation, a total of 48.425 for the Aggies and 48.95 for the Cougars. Again, a pretty tight matchup, historical rivalry here in the Spectrum, and again, the 126th meet between these teams and only the first of 3 times they will meet this season. So we're going to send it to break between rotations. We'll be right back with the third rotation from the Spectrum here in Logan. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the D. Glenn Smith Spectrum here on the campus of Utah State University in Logan, Utah. Tight match between the BYU and Utah State gymnastics squads. We're moving into the third rotation. Here's a quick recap of those scores from vault and bars, respectively, for both squads. A solid vault run for the Cougars, a 48.95 total. And on the bars, a solid run from the Aggies as well, of 48.425. So the Aggies trail by about 0.475 points, I believe, was the last updated total. We're looking forward to this next rotation. The Cougars are going to take the floor while the Aggies take the beam. Here's your lineups on the floor. For the Cougars, we've got Abby Bowden, Brittany Viskauskis, Abby Miner, Brianna Pearson, Sadie Miner, and Shannon Evans. On the beam for the Aggies, Leighton Varnador, Annie Beck, Taylor Dittmar, Autumn DeHardy, Emily Briones, and Madison Ward Sessions. What are you guys looking forward to out of both teams this rotation?
For BYU, I'm excited to see Shannon Evans' routine.
Yeah.
Last week, she and Maddie Ward Sessions were named co-floor specialists from the MRGC conference, And so her routine is so fun. It's based off Mario, and so you get to see her running around the floor pretending to be Mario.
We'll definitely point out that routine when it comes. It's so fun. I always loved watching BYU's floor routines. A lot of them come with familiar music that we're used to, so we'll pay attention to that and see if we can try and figure it out. But I always love their choreography and their dance. Again, BYU just has such a fun element about them. And you can tell they're having fun in gymnastics. Again, with Utah State on beam, we're going to see a lot of familiar faces on beam. Emily Briones has been a key for Utah State on beam, especially last season. Autumn DeHardy as well, and Taylor Dittmar. A lot of the beam team for Utah State is so solid, and they definitely have a good community within them, so they're able to get all these high scores.
So getting ready for this third rotation. The Aggies looking to make a bit of a surge back towards that leading position on the beam. The Cougars looking to hold their lead on the floor. So starting off is going to be the Aggies on the beam. Here's Leighton Varnador.
I love Leighton's mount. It's so unique how she gets up from there on the beam.
A little wobbly, you see a little bit of nerves, but she's holding it together really well.
beam is definitely, if you ask most gymnasts, I would probably say that about 75% of gymnasts would probably say that beam is the hardest event.
Oh yeah, I was always terrified of beam.
Yeah, beam is pretty scary. It's 4 feet tall and only 4 inches wide, which barely fits 1 foot on the beam. Gorgeous leap series. Again, the judges are looking for that full 180-degree split.
Cool dismount. She does a gainer off of the side, a tuck, 1.5 twist. That was a great routine.
Coach Smith very pleased with that from Leighton. There's a replay of that dismount. On floor for the Cougars, this is Abby Bowden.
She does a round off. She took the back handspring out of that tumbling series. And that will just help maybe to take away some deductions, but it's hard to get power out of just the round off. So it's really nice to see the double back out of just the round off.
Absolutely, it requires a lot of power to do that. You see that mat there? That mat is allowed to be on the floor as long as they have those tape lines to show where inbounds and outbounds is.
You just see how much fun she's having out there dancing with the floor on
Yeah.
the floor. And in the back, you can see all of her teammates dancing with her.
These girls spend countless hours together. They see these routines more than thousands of times. So you get to know the girls and their routines pretty quick. Great start for BYU. Love that routine. Love the energy that she brought to that routine. I think that's going to be a good, solid score for BYU coming out.
So next up for the Aggies on the beam, Annie Beck.
Annie Beck is going to be doing a triple series today on beam, which is 3 skills connected in a row. And that's really hard to do, especially since you have limited space on the beam.
And here she goes. Ooh. Looks like she was just a little bit off there. She was able to stop herself before she got too far. Looks like she's just going to limit to a 2 series.
So in a beam routine, you're only allowed to do a skill twice. And since she already did 1 back handspring, she's only allowed to do 1 more, because if she did a 3rd, it wouldn't count towards her connection.
Tell she's a little bit shaken up, but she still is showing quite a bit of confidence up there.
Beam is definitely one of those events you need to have nerves of steel on.
Absolutely.
Solid finish from Annie Beck.
Yeah, it's always good. Again, like we've been saying, after these falls, the more you can get up and show your coaches that you're able to carry on through the routine and still be strong. Again, I think Coach Smith right there just giving her that advice. Just this, you got back up, you getting strong. That's all that we're looking for you after.
So next up on the floor for BYU, it's going to be Brittany Vitkauskis, excuse me.
This is the first time we're seeing Brittany tonight compete.
That is a punch double full. I rarely see that in gymnastics, and she did it very well.
Yeah. Right into that next tumbling pass. That's very difficult to go from one tumbling pass right into the next tumbling pass. As you can imagine, it requires a lot of stamina.
You can see her performing to the crowd, trying to get the crowd into it. I always feel like the more you get the crowd into it, the more they pump you up and the better you do.
Absolutely, you can definitely feel the crowd when you're performing out there. To her last tumbling pass. From that routine, I really got that she's a front tumbler, which is kind of unusual. You saw a lot of her tumbling. It was a front entrance into it, which is pretty unique. A lot of gymnasts tend to stick with back tumbling. So it's nice to see a gymnast who prefers front tumbling.
So next up for the Aggies on the beam, we have Taylor Dittmar.
Taylor does one of my favorite mounts, probably in college gymnastics. The strength and flexibility that this requires amazes me. Just love that press handstand.
From what I've seen from Taylor, she's a real go-getter. She wants to get out there for her team and put up big scores in great gymnastics. You saw that acro series. In the back handspring, she only uses one arm to do her back handspring, which is really hard, but it does add value to her series.
Taylor is such a determined athlete. I love her game face that she puts on every meet, especially when she's on that beam. You can tell that she definitely owns the beam, not the beam owning her. Gorgeous flexibility.
You saw a gainer off the end from Taylor Dittmar. Earlier, Leighton Varnador did a gainer off of the side. Both very difficult to do.
There's that dismount again.
That was a great routine from Taylor Dittmar.
On the floor for the Cougars, this is Abby Miner, excuse me.
Right into her first pass.
A huge double layout.
Double lays are so hard. According to physics, your body tends to flip faster when you're in a tucked position. So when you're in that layout position, it's a lot harder to make those two flips. Great second pass. You'll see Abby's sister compete here in a minute. It's fun to see a sister relationship on BYU and for Utah State.
The choreography is always so unique. I love it. Another double flipping pass, but this time in the pike position.
Cougar roar at the end of that.
To do two double flipping passes like that in routine is very hard, especially doing one at the very beginning and one at the very end. And so for her to do that and do it solidly is just really
it's amazing.
Amazing.
Autumn DeHardy now on the beam for the Aggies.
Last week, Autumn got a 9.775 for the Aggies. So she's hoping to do just the same or even better.
This has been such a clean routine. I haven't seen anything so far that I would deduct if I was a judge. No wobbles, no form breaks. Autumn is such a confident gymnast, and I love watching her on beam. Just has her dismount coming up here pretty soon.
That was a round off double twisting full. 2 twists around in the air before landing it. That's really hard to do, especially doing a round off on the beam.
Absolutely. It's hard to get both of your feet to land on the beam and get enough pressure and force to get up high in the air to make those twists. And again, that step was probably the only deduction I saw from that routine. So hopefully this brings out a really good score, and hopefully the judges saw that as well.
Now up for the Cougars on the floor, this is Brianna Pearson. Pearson's a junior from Los Gatos, California.
Brianna Pearson earned a 9.8 last week against the Utah Utes. Again, anything above that 9.8 score is really a really good score. I love that beginning there.
There's another punch double twisting full. That's another front twister for BYU. That's pretty rare.
A lot of gymnasts tend to either be twisters or flippers. So you'll see a lot of gymnasts either do double flips or they'll twist a lot. It's really just a preference about what the gymnast prefers. But usually it tends to be one or the other. Again, some fun choreography coming out from BYU.
When they jump out of the tumbling passes like it's that, it makes it easier for them to stick it and make sure that they don't get deducted on it on their landing.
That was an amazing tumbling pass. So that was 4 acro series. It's very difficult. You usually only see a 3-part series or a 2-part series. It's very exciting. That was a very difficult routine, especially to end with that.
Next up, this is Emily Briones for the Aggies on beam.
Emily Briones just getting right up there and getting started.
Emily is such a confident competitor for Utah State. Every time she's on that beam, she just shows you how it is. She's like, I know I can do this. I got this.
Yeah.
Boom.
In my opinion, Emily really carried the team last year on beam. She was really the reason that they got so much good scores on beam last year. Not quite sure why that fall happened there.
It's really hard to land sideways on the beam like that. So if you're a little bit off, you're just coming off the beam.
But again, just dropped right back up. Confident dismount there.
Next on floor for BYU, Sadie Minor.
So next up on the floor for the Cougars, this is Sadie Minor, your younger sister of Abby Minor, who performed earlier.
she did that without the mat too. You see a lot of gymnasts doing double A's with the mat, which just protects your ankles. It's a lot of force coming down, which can require a lot of broken knees and broken ankles, but the fact that she can do that without a mat is really impressive.
Sadie is a freshman, so for her to come out here on the floor as one of the last competitors for this team shows that she's really talented, and the coach is really trusting her gymnastics.
And she's definitely proven that here. Shown some great gymnastics in freshman. She's definitely going to be one that we want to watch throughout the next few years as she becomes a senior. I feel like she really performed that like it was a postseason meet. This is just their second meet of the season, but I really felt like she performed that like a postseason, like she's had more experience. So that's really awesome to see her coming out and being that confident.
So now anchoring for the Aggies on beam, Madison Ward Sessions.
Maddie had a little bit of a tougher time on beam last week, hoping to get better. That was an amazing series. So beautiful, had great amplitude, and a lovely stick there.
This is Maddie's senior year, and she, as a senior, she's competing all around, which is really impressive because gymnastics takes a toll on your body. And for her to be able to compete all 4 events, all 4 years, is really spectacular.
Absolutely. You're going to see a really awesome dismount coming from her as well. Huge double tuck. So good. Oh my gosh, I love her smile at the end of that.
Next on floor.
It's so good to see her happy with that routine.
So now finally on the floor for the Cougars, Shannon Evans, that routine we were talking about earlier. We're about to see it happen.
Huge tumbling. Look at that power. How to step back a little bit. Little facial expressions here. I love watching this routine. Definitely feeling her energy. Shannon is just a junior, so she's going to be a driving force for the team next year. She is competing all around tonight as well. Oh.
She's really amazing at performing this routine. She puts everything that she has into this floor routine, and it's great to see. And I'm pretty sure it's a crowd favorite at BYU.
Absolutely. Shannon did receive a 9.9 last week. Huge, huge score. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely loved watching that routine. I was so excited to watch that tonight and see her energy, and she did not disappoint.
It looks like an exhibition for the Aggies on beam.
This is Grace Rojas. She's from Canada. It's great to see her out there in that exhibition spot. She's showing Coach Smith that she can be a contender for all around.
So we'll run down the scores for you real quick on beam for the Aggies. A 9.625, a 9.1, a 9.725, a 9.75, a 9.05, and a 9.8 for Maddie Ward Sessions on that great routine we just saw there at the end. Then on the floor for BYU, a 9.7, 9.75, 9.725, 9.8, 9.725, and we are about to get that score, Shannon Evans with a 9.85.
The Aggies had a little bit of a rough time today on beam. They're going to have to count Annie Beck's fall, so they're going to have to count that 9-1. And they'll drop Emily Briona's score of 9.05.
Looks like an exhibition on the floor for the Cougars now.
The Cougars have a lot of girls. I believe their whole team competes floor. And so it's great to see all of their team out there competing for a spot.
So on floor, the gymnasts are required to go to all 4 corners of the floor in their routines. So the judges, that's something the judges are looking for. If I was a coach of BYU, I'd be very impressed with her routine right now. It's very clean, solid routine. She's performed it well under the pressure. And I could see her being in lineups fairly soon.
This concludes our third round of competition. Gymnasts, please march to your final event.
Just for reference, Grace Rojas at 9.425? 9.45, excuse me, on her beam exhibition. So the Aggies down by 1.325 points heading into the 4th rotation. Here's a quick recap of all those scores on the floor for the Cougars and on the beam for the Aggies. This 4th rotation, the Aggies will take the floor, the Cougars will take the beam, and we'll see who comes out on top. It's getting pretty tight here in the Spectrum. We'll be right back with the 4th rotation. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the D. Glenn Smith Spectrum. We're here for the 4th and final rotation of this meet between Utah State and BYU. Quick correction on that last rotation. Taylor Dittmar came out with a 9.775, not a 9.725, so that'll boost the Aggie score just a little bit heading into this final rotation. You can take a look at these scores on your screen. Those are the final outcomes of the 3rd rotation. Looking forward to this 4th rotation. The Cougars are going to take the beam, and the Aggies are going to take the floor. The Aggies have a little bit of a big run ahead of them to come back in this one. So we'll see what happens here at the end. Here's your lineups. The Cougars on beam are going to go with Cheyenne Hill, Abby Miner, Elodie Seren, Natasha Marsh, Abby Bowden, and Shannon Evans. And on the floor for the Aggies, Leighton Varnador, Michaela Bullitt, Faith Leary, Autumn DeHardy, Madison Ward, and Ellie Gollison. So we've got an exciting 4th rotation coming up for you.
Yeah, last week BYU had a great rotation on beam. They had several 9.9s, 9.875s.
All scores were above 9.8, which is huge scores.
Yeah, for them to do that, it just shows that they're a really great beam team. So I bet they're pretty excited to be ending on this event.
Absolutely, but floor for Utah State. Last week they had a little bit of a struggle on floor, but floor has always been a really strong suit for Utah State as well. We're going to see a lot of huge tumbling, especially coming from Maddie Ward and Ellie Gollison, which we will see in the last few anchor spots.
So the crowd getting fired up here in the Spectrum with the Scotsman, a real tradition here at Utah State. Everyone's excited to see what this 4th rotation holds. If the Aggies can make a comeback, if the Cougars will hold on to their lead, we will find out here in just a moment.
Coach Smith, she trained at UCLA under Coach Valerie Condos Field, and Miss Val is known for her choreography, so I'm expecting these routines to have great choreography that's going to be fun and a great tumbling on top of it.
Absolutely. Recently, a lot of UCLA gymnasts' routines go viral on floor because of the great choreography and because of the great excellence that the UCLA coach, Miss Val, brings. And so the fact that Coach Smith trained under her and was mentored by her as a gymnast, you can definitely tell through Coach Smith's choreography in these routines.
First on balance beam from BYU, Cheyenne
So
Hill.
first up for the Cougars on beam, Cheyenne Hill. So word from the judges, Abby Miner's floor routine for BYU has also been bumped up to a 9.775, ultimately negating that initial boost that the Aggies got from their first little bump. So here we go.
And again, the judges, I don't know if you just saw that, but a judge walked over to the other judge. So there's 3 judges right now talking about those scores, just to make sure that they give each girl the fair score that they deserve.
The judges still deliberating over there on the far side of the beam. You see Cheyenne Hill waiting to mount the bar.
We talked earlier about how waiting for judges is always scary, always nerve-wracking. It's even worse when for beam, because you already have those nerves. You have to be very precise on the beam, and now you have to wait. When you're ready to go, you're ready to go, and that waiting.
Oh, it's dreadful. And especially on beam, it's such a mental event. It requires a lot of controlling your movements, controlling your breath, not letting your nerves get to you on that beam. Because again, this is a great shot where you can see just how skinny that beam is.
This is the first event we're going to see Cheyenne Hill on. And last week she got a 9.8 for the Cougars.
Oh,
Tough fall there for Cheyenne Hill. Looks like she's okay though.
looks like her foot just kind of slid off, and then the other foot kind of just slid off with her. Again, those falls are kind of scary for a gymnast. Again, it was probably scary for you watching it, but again, you just ought to take that deep breath, breathe, and get right back up on that beam.
A little bit of nerves still through this routine, but she's finishing strong, and that's good to see.
Absolutely. Nice front toss there. Great front hold of that stick. Way to finish it strong.
She's probably going to go talk to the girl behind her and be like, I know you have my back. Go out there and hit it hard.
Absolutely. Gymnastics is such a team sport, such a collaborative sport. It's one of my favorite things about gymnastics.
Leighton Varnador on floor for the Aggies.
We've seen Leighton start most of the events, which is a huge honor. It means that she's such a consistent gymnast. That seemed a little bit low. It looks like she didn't get a lot of power from that, but she was able to whip it around. Definitely had great floor and air awareness of where she was in the air. last tumbling pass.
Great finish to the routine. You get to see a little hair choreography in her routine. She plays with her ponytail, and that's pretty fun to see.
Update for Emily Briones on the beam. They had her start value incorrect, so her score gets knocked down to an 8-8. Tough blow for the Aggies, looking to come back in this one in the last rotation.
It's okay, they still get to drop that score, so that won't affect their team score, but it's a rough time.
It's Abby Miner on beam for the Cougars.
Fun little use of the end of the beam there. You don't see a lot of gymnasts use the end of the beam for their mounts. Gorgeous split jump with that full 180-degree split.
Front toss into the back handspring.
We'll see that series a lot coming from the Cougars. Definitely a unique series. Slight chest down there on that jump connection. That will be a deduction on that.
A nice step dismount to finish off that routine. She seemed a little bit nervous, a little bit wobbly, but she stayed on the beam, and that's what the Cougars needed right now.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that was exactly what the Cougars needed at this point for coming up in the lineups.
On the floor for the Aggies, Michaela Bullitt out of Garland, Texas.
Heading into her first tumbling pass. Nice double pike there.
See that creative choreography from Coach Smith. A little bit of a stumble at the end, but it's a great routine so far.
The gymnasts' personalities shine through their routines and how they perform their routine. Michaela Bullitt, you can tell she's just such a fierce gymnast.
A nice front handspring, 1.5 to finish off the routine. That was a great solid routine from Michaela Bullitt.
Next on the beam,
The Cyrene.
Cyrene earned a 9.85 last week. That was such a good fight to stay on the beam. That is exactly what you want to see as a coach. If you're going to have that wobble, you need to fight for it because it's better to get that deduction than a fall. So that was an awesome fight. So she's a little bit shaken up from that. Again, beam is it gets into your head quite easily. Any little mistake that you make. huge dismount.
It was a great finish. When you're on beam and you have a huge wobble like that, it's really hard to get back in that mindset of, I'm going to stay on the beam, I need to be tight. And for her to finish that routine after a huge wobble like that is really great to see. You could see her pull back into her mind.
And get back into focus, absolutely, which is such a great skill to have as a gymnast. Not a lot of gymnasts have that skill.
Now on the floor for the Aggies, competing for the first time tonight, Faith Leary.
Faith Leary has so much sass, and I love watching her facial expressions as she performs this routine. Ooh, hold on to that there. Almost went out of bounds there, but I was able to hold on to it.
She's dancing right by her teammates, and she's playing it up for her teammates in the crowd. You can see how fun she has on this event.
Presentation and the way they perform this routine is a part of the scoring, so the judges do want to see enjoyable routines. And it just makes it a lot more enjoyable for the judges and the audience to always just watch someone who's having fun. You're just going to be alongside them as they perform it. See that sass coming out there. Huge crowd reaction on that last tumbling pass. The crowd loves to see Faith perform.
Next up on beam for the Cougars, this is Natasha Marsh.
Last week, Marsh got a 9.9 for the Cougars. So hopefully she can finish off this beam rotation with a 9.9 as well. There's that acro series, the front toss to the back handspring that you're going to see from the Cougars quite a bit.
Marsh is a senior this year and has definitely been a great team leader and is co-captain for the BYU team this year.
She's looking very solid in her routine and is hoping to turn around how the Cougars are doing on beam tonight.
Absolutely, this is what the Cougars needed. They've had a little bit of a rough scoring so far, but that routine was exactly what they needed. Great job for Natalie.
Next on floor from Utah State, Autumn DeHardy.
Jumping right back into the floor for the Aggies, this is Autumn DeHardy.
DeHardy earned a 9.85 last week.
You're going to see some fun tumbling passes from Autumn DeHardy. She jumps out of a lot of her passes, or one of the passes she'll do a Shushanova is what it's called, and it's a straddle to her belly. Autumn is a great performer for this Utah State team.
You can see there the judge just smiles. Autumn really likes to try to perform to the judges, make them look at her. Great double pike. They are required to do some floor elements. So there you see her doing her floor element just for some level changes and just for some, get some unique choreography coming out for collegiate gymnasts.
Coming up is the pass that we were talking about with the Shushanova at the end.
So a great routine there for Autumn Bahardi. Great team reaction, great crowd reaction. And back to the
In just what the Cougars needed. You can see this beam team's turning this rotation around.
Turning it around, which is what we want to see from Beamer teams. The routines normally get progressively, or the coaches like to put the more confident athletes at the end, the ones who they know are able to get those sticks and hit routines, so that if there were any falls, that they could drop those falls.
next up for the Aggies on the floor, the senior Madison Ward Sessions.
Last week, she won this event at the meet and tied for co-floor specialist in our conference.
With a score of 9.9, huge score. Maddie has always been such a huge participant on floor. You'll see her huge opening tumbling pass here. That almost didn't even fit on your screen. She goes so high.
I know, I feel like I could walk underneath her when she's tumbling.
Just stand right under and flip over. Again, you saw that too. Maddie is such a great tumbler and has earned her so many floor titles throughout her years at Utah State.
That was a unique lead series. She did a pike full down to her belly and then a little full twist at the end.
Maddie's favorite event is floor, and you can definitely see that when she performs. Taking those few, catching your breath before that last tumbling pass. See her team explode out of that tumbling pass.
The huge routine there from Madison Ward Sessions. The crowd loves it, the team loves it, Coach Smith loves it. Things are getting very close here in the spectrum as we head into the anchor positions for both squads. Shannon Evans now on beam to close out for the Cougars.
Very difficult strength move there. Required a lot of balance and control.
Shannon Evans, is a very confident competitor. She always attacks her skills, and it pays off for her.
Absolutely, you can see when she finishes, she just throws it down. She is not giving away any tenths. Oh, slight wobble there again, or quite a big wobble. If she were to touch the beam, that would have been considered a fall. So you see how she kind of swinged her arms behind her to make sure that it didn't count as that fall. But that was a gorgeous leaf series coming out of that.
See that gainer again in the pike position. That was a great routine to end for the Cougars. A little bit of a rough beam go, but they finished off really strong with their last few competitors.
So a quick score update as we head into the final competitor. Never mind, we'll hold off on that. Here's Ellie Gollison.
See an explosive first tumbling pass from Ellie.
Ellie has been a big floor competitor for Utah State in her years here. She's a junior.
Fun little dance series there.
You can hear the girls in the background chanting USU. I believe all the girls in the routine have a USU part that the girls can cheer for.
Heading into this last tumbling pass. I love that fierce look that she just gave after that tumbling pass. She knew she nailed it. She knew she hit it. You can hear her say yes after she was done. So proud of her and what she put out there on the floor tonight.
The Aggies are fired up, and it's going to come down to this last score from Gollison. As we wait on that, here's a quick recap. BYU on the beam, 895, 9425, 96, 975, 9675, and 965. Aggies on the floor so far, 975, 96, 9675, 9825, 9875. And that score coming in for Gollison in just a moment.
You saw that girl just perform on the beam there. That was an exhibition routine, so it will not count towards their final score. And it looks like they're going to have one more exhibition routine coming up here. As they're getting ready for her score on beam and the next exhibition routine to start, I think BYU struggled a little bit on beam today. I don't know where they were at, but they had quite a bit of wobbles, some major wobbles that really brought down their scores. And we know they're an amazing beam team. They showed that last week at the University of Utah with scoring all above 9.8. So again, sometimes you're just on as a team, sometimes you're not. And gymnastics is one of those sports where it just depends week to week. It could change dramatically like we've seen with this BYU team.
Yeah, it's really hard to be consistent every week, and teams that do that have really honed in on their skills. And, you know, it's only the second meet of the season. You know,
Yeah.
BYU can only go up from here. So I'm not worried about the rest of their season. They're going to do great.
Absolutely. We're just in preseason now. There's still plenty of meets before championships and nationals and regionals. So we've got lots of time to go back into the gym and practice and have some good meets. And again, these exhibition routines are also super important for BYU because we've seen all these little falls and mishaps. Maybe the BYU coaches want to come back and reevaluate their beam team and change some of their people. So the fact that they have 2 exhibition routines is really good for BYU.
They have a lot of depth in this beam rotation as well, so they have a lot of options to choose from. And it's great to see girls out here trying to get the opportunity to get in that lineup.
It was a fun little jump there. That was a ring jump, so her head goes backwards. So when she lands on the beam, she's sort of unaware of where she is. But you practice these skills and you have such great beam awareness at this point in your career.
That was a great exhibition routine from this BYU gymnast.
That concludes our fourth round of competition.
Scoring for Ellie Gollison, 9.675, and that will mean that the Aggies will fall to BYU in this opening home opener match. Pending any changes from the judges, it looks like the Aggies' 5-year streak has come to an end. So here's a recap of those scores on your screen. On the beam, BYU with a total of 48-1, and on the floor, Utah State a 48-8.
Which is a really good score for Utah State on floor. Anything around that 49 mark is really our goal for any team to get a total event score of about 49. That will ensure a really good team score of about 196, which is where all teams want to be. But again, we're saying that this is preseason, and we want to see teams improve, so you can only go up from here.
Yeah, overall this meet was really great. You know, there's some ups and downs for both teams, a little bit of bumps and bruises, some falls, but they still have a lot of time to improve. It's only the second meet of the season. They're going to meet 2 more times, so we'll see if the Aggies can beat them next time. But
so we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with a quick recap and an overall review of this meet. But that's going to do it for the action. Stay tuned for a quick recap when we get back. We should anticipate.
I'm anticipating that there's going to be more confidence on the beam. There's going to be better beam rotation, and just
Probably whole different teams and whole different attitudes coming out from both of these teams.
There on your screen, you can see the recap of all the scores from the different events tonight. Any standouts, any routines that you're going to remember fondly going forward?
yeah, Natasha Marsh for the Cougars did really well on bars. She got a 9.775. For the Aggies, Maddie Ward did really well. She got a 9.75. Grace Rojas also did well. She got a 9.725. Also for the Cougars, Shannon Evans got a 9.75. So some pretty high scores for both teams.
We saw a really good exhibition there at the end of the bars from Logan Varnador. A really, really impressive routine. Shame it didn't count, though, for the Aggies' final score.
Now we're seeing the vault scores show up on your screen. Again,
The score of 9.825 from BYU, Abby Miner.
right now we're looking at the vault award ceremony.
Vault winner tonight with a score of 9.875 from BYU, Shannon Evans.
The winner is from BYU, Shannon Evans with a 9.875.
Parallel bars.
Now we're heading into the bar event titles.
With a score of 9.75 from BYU, Shannon Evans. from Utah State, Madison Ward Sessions.
Madison Ward Sessions and Shannon Evans tied for second on that event. And the winner is Natasha Marsh with a 9.775.
Natasha Marsh with two very solid routines in bars and on beam.
With a score of 9.75, we have a tie from BYU, Natasha Marsh. And from Utah State, Autumn D. Hardy.
Autumn D. Hardy and Natasha Marsh tied for third place on beam.
From Utah State, Taylor Dittmar.
While Taylor Dittmar took second with a 9.775.
Beam winner tonight with a score of 9.8 from Utah State, Madison Ward.
The overall
Maddie Ward
winner.
Sessions, she had a phenomenal meet tonight. Great score from the beam, better score on the floor, great bars. There's just very few things that she did wrong tonight.
Absolutely.
From Utah State, Autumn D. Hardy.
Heading down to floor work.
And your winner on floor exercise with a score of 9.875 from Utah State, Madison Ward.
Maddie Ward Sessions taking home the award for the floor routine, beating out a very, very good Shannon Evans floor routine from BYU, but Maddie Ward Sessions, again, the screen just didn't do it justice. The height that she gets off the floor in those tumbling passes is incredible.
Unbelievable.
Leighton Arnador.
Heading now into the all-around position. Leighton competed all-around tonight.
125 from BYU, Shannon Evans.
Shannon Evans coming in second with a 39.125.
Winner tonight with a score of 39.225.
And of course, our all-around winner, Maddie Ward Sessions with a 39.225. Great all-around score.
Phenomenal night for Maddie Ward Sessions tonight. Shame that the Aggies couldn't get it done tonight. A very, very close matchup against BYU, and something that I think is going to be a really good competition next week on Friday night, or not Friday night, excuse me, Friday morning, 11 a.m. in Provo. These two teams will see each other again.
Now for tonight's final team scores. With a score of 193.95 in second place, your Utah State Aggies.
See the final scores there right up on the board, right up on your screen, with Utah State with a 193.95 and BYU with a 194.575.
The BYU Cougars.
So a great job by both these squads tonight. A matchup that has been going on for quite some time, a matchup that we are not done seeing anytime soon, and a quick show of sportsmanship from both squads. So the Aggies unable to continue their winning streak. They are now 7-1 in home openers since 20. Let me get some final thoughts from you two. What do you guys think we're going to see from this Aggie team for the rest of the season? We get a good look at them tonight. What are you excited for this year?
I am really seniors, Emily Briones and Maddie Ward Sessions. I think that this team really is great about building each other up and supporting each other, and I think that will continue, and we'll be able to continue to see that throughout the season.
Yeah, and for BYU, I'm excited to see them build on what they did last week. You know, they came out, they knew what they wanted, and they went and got it. And unfortunately, it didn't quite turn out how they wanted it to today, but I know that they're hungry now and they're looking for more. So they're going to come out strong next week, I can just tell.
Absolutely, and it's so fun with the Mountain and Gymnastics Conference how all these teams are able to meet up twice, both at their home locations. And so we'll be seeing a lot from the Mountain and Gymnastics Conference, which is really a great conference to be in.
So that's going to do it from Logan on the campus of Utah State. I'm Stockton Jukes with Courtney McGill and Miranda Acevedes. That's going to do it tonight from Logan. Final score 194.575 to 193.95. Thanks for joining us. As the Scotsman rings out, we're going to say goodnight. Thank you for joining us.